Good morning and welcome to First Parish Church of Groton. I am Melissa Wood and I use she, her pronouns. I'm one of your trustees and I'm soon to be no longer on the chair of worship committee at the end of the year, if you want to be a worship chair. We are a community seeking to deepen spiritually, to take care of one another, and be a blessing to this world. Unitarian Universalism is a faith for all, so bring whoever you are, all of your beliefs, identities, abilities, challenges, gifts, and dreams. Bring all of what you've been, all of what you've done. There is room for all of it here. Our congregation includes a wide diversity of beliefs, and we know we don't need to think alike to look alike. We invite you to freely translate the language you hear today. We are not concerned about the sounds that children or Lars or anyone else makes during the service, and hope you won't be either. Special thanks to Chad Hadlin, who is our cantor this morning, and to Owen Schumann for the flowers on the altar. Our sanctuary is not this room or any place at all. Sanctuary is what we create together. Please come in and rest for a while. You are so welcome here.
Blessed is the path on which you travel. Blessed is the body that carries you upon it. Blessed is your mind that discerns the way.
Blessed is the gift you will receive by going, and blessed is the gift you will become on the journey.
As we walk down this long road.
three bells at the start of the service invite us to settle into our bodies more fully. Remind us that we are whole. We belong wholly upon the earth. That we are held in love that holds us in all tenderness. With each bell, I invite you to breathe in and release, or close your eyes and open them. The first bell is for you. The second bell is for your loved ones. And the third is for the world. Our opening hymn is Circle Game. This is a song we sing every year in honor of our bridging youth and their families, but is for everyone who feels the passage of time. The words are an insert of your order of service. Please rise as you are able.
God of dragonflies.
Please be seated. I almost made it through. Did you see that we had a child going round and round and round in the circle game? So the flaming chalice is the symbol of our faith. If you are with us remotely, I invite you to get a candle and light it as we light our common chalice in the meeting house. Kira Hill and Laura Hill, both of whom grew up at First Parish and bridged here, will light the chalice this morning.
Alright, so my name is Kira and I use she, her, and they, them pronouns.
My name is Laura. I use she, her pronouns.
Music has always been a passion of mine. Growing up in a musical family, my parents ensured that my sister and I were always involved in some musical activity. For me, this began when I joined the children's choir. There I was, tiny Kira, with my father standing behind me, reading the lyrics to me during practice because I didn't know how to read. During services, I would be belting out the words to This Little Light of Mine, among other songs, where you could definitely hear my bright and overpowering tone. As I grew older, my sister Laura joined the choir, and Meredith would join in singing with us as we practiced the songs on the way to church, and the Hill Sisters were born.
As we got older, we began singing songs together in three-part harmony, and the Hill Sisters made their debut at the Cocoa House, right down below us, in 2013, singing Stay, Stay, Stay by Taylor Swift. We constantly sang in the car and played with new harmonies, and the parents often got involved as well. Kira capped off her senior year in high school with the Hill Sisters performance of I Know It's Today from Shrek the Musical, the 2017 Parker Spring Musical. As Kira and I have graduated from high school and college and began our lives in the real world, music has always brought the Hill Sisters back together. No matter where we have gone gone different paths in our lives across the country, once we reunite, singing always makes it feel like not a single day has gone by.
Your little hands wrapped around my finger and it's so quiet in the world tonight. Your little eyelids flutters cause you're dreaming, so I tuck you in, turn on your favorite night light.
To you, everything's funny. You got nothing to regret. I give all I have, honey. If you could stay like that. Oh, darling, don't you ever grow up. Don't you ever grow up. Just stay this little. Oh, darling, don't you ever grow up. Don't you ever grow up. You can stay this simple.
I won't let nobody hurt you. Won't let no one break your heart. And no one will desert you. Just try to never grow up. We want to remind you, especially the Bridgers, as they are navigating adulthood, to not forget where you came from. Keep your roots close, but don't be afraid to pave the new path in front of you.
We light the chalice today for the music that brings us together in both childhood and adulthood. I'll invite Rose Hendrickson to come up to light the peace candle today. Each Sunday morning, we light a peace candle to remind us to send our light to humans everywhere who are facing war and violence, and to honor them by creating as much peace in ourselves, our families, and our communities as possible. Please remain seated and join in singing Spirit of Life. The words are in order of service.
So it is almost time for our bridging ceremony for this year's graduating, transitioning youth, Meredith Hill, Sophia Santoro, Avery Looning. Owen Benedict couldn't be here this morning. I've threatened to bridge him privately. I also want to issue an invitation to all of the young adults who are here this morning who didn't bridge because of the pandemic or for any other reason. You are so welcome to just jump on in this morning if this feels like the right time for you to cross this bridge. You can just come up when the bridgers come up and we'll just fold you right in. We always bring extra. Through the bridging ceremony, we offer the youth who are finishing high school or its equivalent our blessings for the next part of their life journey. We've been doing this for the past 17 or 18 years since Donna Nowak brought us her garden bridge. And the first youth who bridged that first year, we think are 36 years old now. We use a bridge for this ritual because bridges are places of transition. They are in-between places. They allow for clearer seeing, and perhaps most importantly, bridges create connections from one place to another. So today, we will send these bridgers into their future with great joy. We also remind them and ourselves through this ceremony that their connection, their bridge to this community will remain no matter how far they travel or how many years go by. The fact that we have young adults who have returned here this morning, many of whom were bridgers in years past, is such a gift. And I'm not kidding when I say that we always want you to come home to us. So now we will ask the bridgers to come up front, and we will ask their families to bless this transition. And then each bridger will walk slowly down the center aisle collecting flowers from the younger children. So don't give all your flowers away to the first person. You have to give some to everybody, okay? What? That's okay, you can just pick. Oh, if you have 3, you might have just enough. And if you don't have enough, that's okay.
And there's extra.
Oh yeah, there are extra?
Yeah, I think so.
Did we? No extra.
Oh, okay, no.
If, you know what, if we run out, we'll just grab from here, okay? In our tradition, flowers are the symbols we use for new life. Bridgers will be met at the back of the sanctuary by the adults who have worked with them and know them here. And they will walk the bridgers as well as the younger youth. Alex, are you like representing for the younger youth today? That is very, very cool. So, you're gonna walk the bridgers up the side of the aisle over here to the foot of the bridge. The important thing is don't let them go alone. I say this every year. Clump with them and support them as they go. And then each youth will be asked if they are ready to cross the bridge. Hopefully they say yes. When they reach the middle, we will bless the youth with our homemade holy water. This is the water that we gathered last summer and for 22 summers before that. So this tradition started before this year's bridgers were born. And then after the blessing, they will be met by the young adults who will welcome them to young adulthood, and the young adults will give them a rose, which is there, and a bag with some small bridging gifts in it with gratitude to Lindy Hannanen for making the bridger gift bags, and to Charles Fauché, who rebuilt the bridge this year and says it's strong enough to bridge a foal into young adulthood. It does creak. It does creak a little bit, but don't worry, it is so strong. Bridgers, once you have crossed over, you'll stay up front with the rest of the adults, and if you forgot everything I just said, don't worry about it. We will be just fine. I think that's all I have to say. Not yet.
We have very eager bridge movers. When children are dedicated in our congregation, they're given a rose with the thorns removed. But today, our bridgers are given a rose with the thorns left on, because we know that the journey through adulthood has some sharp and painful places for us all, and we cannot protect you on that journey any longer. But we can trust you. Once all the youth have crossed the bridge, the congregation will give them a blessing for this next part of their life journey. So will our bridgers please come forward now? Avery, Meredith, and Sophia. And if there's anyone else who would like to bridge today. may change, and you may change in small and huge ways. And whoever you become, whatever you do in all your life, all the ways that your life will unfold, you will always, always belong here. And you will always have a home in this congregation. Would the families of these bridging youth please stand as you are able? Families, stand as you are able. Thank you. Today we are pausing to honor an important transition happening in your families. We celebrate you, and we also hold this bittersweet moment with you. I ask you now, will you send these youth into adulthood with your blessing and love? If so, please answer, I will.
I will.
Thank you. You may be seated.
So you can ask each one if they're ready, and then we'll do the thing.
Are you ready to bridge, Sophia?
Yes. Okay, I need more hands. Yes. Okay. Sophia, may you have courage for your journey. Go with joy. Now you come close and meet her. Come meet her, meet her, meet her. There you go. It's all done.
Meredith, are you ready to bridge?
Yes.
Okay, we'll let you go. I'm already crying. It's done deal.
Stop there. Oh, Meredith, may you have courage for your journey. Go with joy. I have to put water on her hands. We do.
Avery, are you ready to bridge? Avery, may you have courage for your journey. You go with joy. May the nourishment of the earth be yours, giving you strength. May the clarity of the morning and evening light be yours, giving you vision. May the protection of the ancestors be yours, giving you comfort and peace. Wrap these words of love around you like an invisible cloak to warm and shelter your life. Go forth with joy. Come home to us often. And may your days be good and long upon the earth. Amen. So will you be seated, and we will, oh no, don't be seated. We're going to sing the last verse. You can bridge over troubled water, but you can return to your seats if you left them, and we'll sing. Oh, bridge movers, we need you too. Yes.
Where do you need it?
You can be seated.
Sail on
children, youth, and volunteers to religious exploration. The words are in your order of service.
May a spirit of deep prayer be upon this old house. From Paul Williams. We have been born into a moment of unprecedented danger and opportunity. It is time. It is time. Our purpose here is to build a bridge. The purpose of the bridge is to span the distance between our present situation and our vision of a better world. The beauty of a bridge is that once it's in place, anyone can move across it. A few people can build a bridge that can be crossed by so many. To choose to build a bridge is the essential act of love. To choose to build a bridge is the essential act of love. We give great thanks for this new morning, for this soft, green, late spring day. We give thanks for this beautiful season of transformations and for the transformations in our own lives. We give such thanks for the blessings of our lives, for shelter and food and community, for kindness and open hearts and voices and faces of loved ones, of children, of strangers. Today we give thanks especially for these bridging youth, for Meredith, Sophia, Avery, and Owen, and for their families, for all their loved ones as they move into young adulthood. We hold them close in our hearts. We celebrate this morning with tremendous joy the birth yesterday of Miles Maxwell, Aaliyah's new nephew, who is tiny and healthy and strong. And amidst it all, alongside it all, we hold loving space in our hearts for the pain and sorrow here present, for our loved ones who are facing deep challenges, who are coping with trauma, who are hurting. May we open to the ways we can be of support to them, the ways we can provide steady love as they move into whatever is next. As we rest among one another in quiet, may we settle into the eye of the heart. May we open into that place of deep peace within ourselves that is pure love. May we open and remember that every life is sacred. Each life is sacred. and part of the great wholeness. May a deep peace of the Spirit be with you and in you. Enter into the silence with me.
First Parish has mattered since 1655. It has changed and grown, and its people over hundreds of years have always stepped up to make that possible. We are those people now, and it's our turn to do it again. Please give as generously as you're able to support the ongoing work of this church. If you'd like to donate online, there's QR codes on the back of your order of service. The morning offering will now be gratefully received.
Our purpose here is to build a bridge. The purpose of the bridge is to span the distance between our present situation and our vision of a better world. The beauty of a bridge is that once it is in place, anyone can walk on it. A few people can build a bridge that can be walked on by many. To choose to build a bridge is the essential act of love. Paul Williams' words give me another reason that asking our oldest youth to cross a bridge into their young adulthood is a really good idea. Because our UU faith tradition asks of us, really requires of us, that we all choose to be bridge builders, not in steel and concrete and pilings and spans, but in relationships, in compassion, in acts of justice and repair and hope. Our faith asks us to be people who are committed to spanning that vast distance between our present situation and our vision for the world as it could be. This week I spent a little time learning about bridge building. Those of you who know me also know that my engineering skills are what we would say are a little on the weak side. So I went straight to the Kids Britannica homework help site, which was a little bit above my level, but I did learn a couple of things. I learned that bridge building is not easy. It requires a lot of different high-level skill sets, as they put it. Geometry, physics, design, geology, construction. And that bridge building requires planning, favorable conditions, and strong collaboration. That last part I got. No one can build a bridge alone. I learned that the foundation of a bridge is the element that connects the structure to the earth and transfers the weight from the bridge to the ground below. And not surprisingly, for a bridge to actually stay up, it needs an incredibly strong foundation, which led me to thinking about the foundations we put under our children, which led me to thinking about the foundations of our faith. And what is it in those foundations that call us to be bridge builders? To try to take on this impossible seeming work of spanning this space between the world as it is right now and the world we believe in. A world where the worth and dignity of every child, every person, is not up for debate. A world where there is enough food and compassion and self-determination. A world where we have learned to live together in peace on a slowly healing planet. That world. Well, one of the 6 sources of our Unitarian Universalist faith is religious humanism. And I think that that is where the call to bridge building comes from. And the essential belief of religious humanism is that what is to become of us, of humanity, of our planet, is in our hands. It's really that simple. Religious humanism says that we have to choose, that we get to choose, that we have the responsibility to choose, and that what we choose matters. This movement has a long history within our faith. It began after the Civil War, when the major issues for the Unitarians of the day had to do with organizing this new denomination, organization never being something that we are especially skilled at. And the organization of this new religion was all tied up in this issue of whether or not the Unitarians would name themselves as Christian or not. And those who wanted to separate from Christianity called themselves the Free Religious Association, and they met and they debated and they really challenged and pushed their colleagues to broaden their thinking. And while the Unitarians did not choose to fully or formally separate ourselves from Christianity, the Free Religious Association had a profound impact on the development of our faith. And the ministers who were in the forefront of that movement were preaching a Unitarianism that was based on the belief that human responsibility, human reason, and human determination responsible for our present condition and for our future. And in 1933, these ministers wrote a document. Ministers love to write documents. I think we still do. And it was called the Humanist Manifesto, in which they clearly stated their position within Unitarianism. And it ends with these words: humans are at last becoming aware that we alone are responsible for the realization of the world of our dreams, that we have within ourselves the power, and that we must set our intelligence and will to the task. What does religious humanism ultimately tell us? Well, I think it tells us that the things we learned in kindergarten are actually true. That if we make a mess, or even if we see one that we didn't make, don't walk by and look the other way. Clean it up. It's the same lesson as don't put the empty milk carton back in the refrigerator, and if you use the last of the toilet paper, replace the roll for the next person. It's that lesson, but on a cosmic theological level. God is not going to change the toilet paper. God will not replace the milk. And God will not clean up the messes we have made. I believe that whether or not we believe in God, or in a higher power, or in a larger force of love that holds the world together, most of us are and have long been religious humanists. Because the God of most of our understandings is not a fixing God. Not a God who has the power to make things better but doesn't. Not a God who takes away the suffering of some people and not others. Pulls some people out of the path of tornadoes and lets others be destroyed. Many of us believe rather in a God of presence. A God whose name is love, and a God who is known and felt in acts of love. A God who holds all things, and especially those who are suffering. But whether or not we believe in God, or whatever we call it, or however we understand it ultimately, it must be our responsibility to take care of each other. I think about that joke that has a lot of different forms, but the basic thing is a guy standing on the roof of his house in a rising flood, praying for God to save him. And someone rows by in a boat and says, "Get in," and the guy says, "No, God's going to save me." And then a rescue crew roars up in their rescue boat. And as they start to jump out to help him into the boat, the guy says, "No, no, no, God's going to do it." And finally, a rescue helicopter flies in and hovers over his head and drops down a ladder for him to climb up. And the guy refuses to get on the ladder and calls up to the helicopter crew, "I'm good, God's got me." And as the floodwaters rise and rise, and he's now chest high in the water, he yells out in a rage to God, "You need to save me." And God answers, "Buddy, I tried 3 times. The writer Annie Dillard puts it this way: "Who shall ascend the hill of the Lord? Who shall stand in God's holy place?" In other words, who shall be a prophet? In other words, who shall be a leader? Who will be like Moses, who led the people out of slavery? And Annie Dillard answers the question, there is no one but us. There is no one to send but us. A generation comforting ourselves with the notion that we have come at an awkward time. Our parents are all dead, our children are busy and troubled, and we ourselves unfit, not yet ready, having each of us chosen wrongly and made false starts and failed and yielded to impulse and the tangled comforts of pleasure. We who have grown exhausted and unable to see the thread. But there is no one but us. There never has been. There is no one but us. Imperfect and self-doubting and weary as we may be, there is no one but us. And we are also strong enough and compassionate enough and generous enough and good enough to do our part. We often believe that the world is transformed only in these huge, sweeping acts, in the changing of laws and the founding of social movements, and these things are all essential, and thank God for those who accomplish them. But I wonder if maybe the world is also a tiny bit transformed by each act of compassion and generosity and kindness, no matter how small it is. Maybe something in the universe shifts in some infinitesimal fraction of a way every time someone does something to help build a bridge between our present situation and that better world. It's like laying down one strand as thin as a spider web, delicate but strong. And maybe all those strands eventually make up something that can hold us. Maybe the world is transformed when one of you goes to spend a weekend in prison, reminding those who are there yearning for company that they have not been forgotten and that their lives matter. Maybe the world is transformed by the cooking of noodle casseroles, which are delivered to those who are sick or recovering from surgery. Maybe it's transformed by the bringing of banana bread to the memorial service reception for someone you didn't even know. I've been having an email conversation with someone who's new to our congregation and happy to be here. And this is not the first time I've had this conversation at all. This person is a little bit surprised by how much this church seems to ask of its people. I mean, it is good, this person wrote, but also kind of challenging. I come here and I'm asked to make a difference in the world, and some weeks I'm just too tired. I think we do ask a lot of ourselves here. I hope we do. I hope we challenge and inspire each other. And we do this because of our shared understanding, our shared hunch, I hope and believe, that a life of integrity is a life in which we find ways to mend tiny bits of what has been torn apart. A life of faith is a life in which we try to find ways to be a blessing to the world. We have a conviction here that the life of faith is one in which we offer real hope, real comfort, real food, and real shelter to those who need it until there is no need anymore. And some weeks we are definitely too tired. Some weeks we are hurt or sad or overwhelmed by what life has already presented to us. And so that is why bridge building is a shared project. It is why bridge building never happens alone. The Chilean poet and social justice activist Pablo Neruda, who was jailed repeatedly, wrote these words: "I've never understood the struggle except as something to end all struggle. I've never understood hard measures except as something to end hard measures. I have taken a difficult road because I believe that road leads us all to lasting kinship. And I am fighting for widespread, inexhaustible goodness. I still have absolute faith in human destiny. I have a clearer and clearer conviction that we are approaching a great and common tenderness. The best possible choice we can make is to have such a faith and to act as if it is true. To act as if we, humankind, are approaching a great common tenderness. This morning, we send 3 beautiful, strong, young adults into this world to be bridge builders. May we choose over and over again to build with them.
Beholding one another and yourselves with one hand over the heart, with the other reaching out. We are woven together, beloveds, with such strong and sturdy threads of love.
Go in peace. You be a blessing to this world.